Rose, will you and Marie, will you guys amend and second?
Yeah.
That? Thank you.
We can.
So I think we are for this, but we're not. I don't know for that.
So it'd be
That's for the police.
13.5. Yeah. I'm just wondering.
What's 13?
Table those so we can discuss it.
I'm okay with that.
Oh, it's a building.
I'm okay with that.
Building.
Just give you a heads up.
Good? Okay. Jeff, you're live.
Ron?
You're live,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. All right, thanks for everyone coming down today. Let's start this meeting. Calling to order Town of North Branford, Water Pollution Control Authority and regular Town Council meeting, North Branford, Connecticut, Tuesday, August 2nd, 2022. We'll start with the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. If you would, roll call, please.
Mayor McMillan.
Present.
Deputy Mayor Santano.
Here.
Counselor Abelson.
Here.
Counselor Angeloni.
Here.
Counselor Diamond.
Here.
Counselor Down. Counselor Goad.
Here.
Counselor Mace.
Here.
Counselor Felicia.
Here. Okay. I will accept minutes for the previous meetings. Item A, June 27, 2022, Town Council special meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Counselor Angeloni, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. Item B, July 12, 2022, WPCA and Town Council meeting.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Counselor Angeloni, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. And July 25th, 2022, Town Council special Zoom meeting.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Motion by Counselor Angeloni, second by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, before we continue, I would like to make some motions to amend the agenda.
Yes, ma'am?
Okay, so I'm going to do them all in one motion.
Please.
So the first one is to add item 11B, resignation of Eric Knapp, the town planner.
Okay.
To add item 13A, appointment of Assistant Director of Public Works. And item 13I, appointment of building official.
Second.
Okay. I'm shorting this one in. Okay, we have a motion by Counselor Angeloni, second by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, appreciate that. Okay. Moving on to our first aspect of the meeting, Water Pollution Control Authority agenda. Item 3, correspondence and citizen statements. Any? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 4, unfinished business. There's none. On to item 5, new business. The schedule, item A, scheduling of special Water Pollution Control Authority meeting and public hearing for sewer works operating budget, proposed user fee, fiscal year 2022, 2023. Sir?
Good evening.
Hi,
Hi.
Victor. How are
So
you?
every year, the WPCA needs to schedule a special meeting for the sewer use fees and the sewer works operating budget for the upcoming year.
Okay.
We're working with analyzing the rates that will be coming in for Town of Branford, Town of North Haven, and Greater New Haven WPCA for our sewer discharges that are sent to those entities every year. Because there's only one meeting in September, we push this out as long as we can to allow those entities some time to get us the data that we need. So this year, that works out in coordination with your September 20th meeting.
Okay. September 20th.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that the North Branford WPCA schedules a special Water Pollution Control Authority meeting on Tuesday, September 20th, 2022, and further that the North Branford WPCA, acting as the sewer authority for the town pursuant to CGS 7-255, will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, September 20th, 2022, at 7 p.m. at the North Branford Town Hall, 909 Foxton Road, for the purpose of receiving public input on the sewer works operating budget and the proposed sewer use fees for the 2022-23 fiscal year.
Second.
Thank you, Counselor Angeloni. Is the motion, second by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. Okay, and then item 6, citizen statements and petitions. Are there any before we move on to the regularly scheduled meeting? Seeing none, we're going to move on to the regular town council meeting. Item 7, reports and committees, boards and commissions. A, Economic Development Committee, Roger Solway monthly report.
So you'll notice it in our packet, there is an extensive EDC report for July. 2 things to highlight is, one is the Little Red Schoolhouse, the refurbishment of the Tucket Historical Society. Andy Bizzuto has agreed to chair the fundraising effort. The goal is for $50,000. There will be more information coming in regards to this. There's going to be a fundraising event at Mill Pond sometime this fall, so there will be more information together once that goes. And then the other thing is they're having their second quarter meeting or third quarter meeting at Stewards of the Land tomorrow night at 5:30. And they do have some speakers coming in for that, and it will be, who's coming in? Oh, the topic is water. So they have someone from the RWA that's coming in to speak in regards to that. And so that will be held tomorrow night at Stewards of the Land starting at 5:30.
Thank you, Counselor Angeloni. Appreciate that. And if anyone wants to pledge $50,000 for the Little Red Schoolhouse, we'll take your checks up here right now. Thank you. Franny's coming up. Thank you, Franny. All right. Moving on to item B, Parks and Recreation.
Park and Rec meeting was canceled due to lack of quorum last week. And as everyone knows, our big POCO Fest is happening this weekend. It starts on Thursday night. It is a 4-day affair this year after a 2-year hiatus due to COVID. So we are all looking forward to it. And as we all know, it will be the hottest weekend of the summer because it generally is for the POCO Fest. And I just want to say this festival would not be possible without the work of Franny Marola and his crew at Public Works.
Yes.
They are a tremendous asset in helping us prepare and get this ready. And also all of our volunteers that will be helping put this festival on. After a 2-year hiatus, it is kind of like starting over. We do have a new coordinating committee that is putting this all together. We've all come together with our own specialties to pull this off. So the biggest event is that we are happy to be able to do this year and bring it back to the town. We are trying to keep it simple, get through the weekend, and we have a lot of great ideas for the next one, for next year. We have been told by our pyrotechnic company, Atlas, that our fireworks show on Saturday night will be one to remember. It will be almost 30 minutes long. It will be starting at approximately 9:20. So it should be one not to miss on there. They have guaranteed. And our festival company, or the ride company, we normally have 10 or 11 rides. Because of the reconfiguration of the property and everything else, this year we will have 17 rides on the facility. So it will be much bigger in that area also. So we hope people will come out and enjoy the festival. There is no charge, there is no admission. There is a parking fee, but Thursday night is North Branford night, and parking is free to North Branford residents. There is free shuttle service from Jerome Harrison School or the Stanley T. Williams, and that will run throughout the whole evening, all the hours of the show. So we hope to see you there.
Thank you, Counselor. I want to reiterate, to thank Franny for all the work that you and your crew do. It's exemplary. You guys really work your tail off. I've been watching every day as it's going up, and even the site work that you've done with fencing and it's amazing. So thank you so much for all the effort you guys put in it. Thank you. And I really appreciate that. And Rose, if I can add, if people still have the desire to volunteer, is volunteers still available?
Volunteer is still available. You can go to nbpotatofest.com. There is a drop down for volunteers. Or you can contact me because I'm in charge of scheduling volunteers. So
Yes, we know
we will
this.
take anyone for any shift available. We will find something for you to do.
Absolutely. More hands the better, makes lighter work. Did you also get a memo in for no rain to whomever's in charge of that?
Well, you know, we might need a little rain to wet things down because then that alleviates another task of Franny during the festival. We have had years where he had to spray the grounds because it's so dry.
Oh.
So, you know, Friday, if it rains in the morning, early afternoon, we're okay.
We're okay with that, okay.
Saturday, you know, a little passing rain shower like in Florida. We
Okay.
don't mind.
Okay,
It's
good.
okay. It'll work.
All
We'll
right.
still have fireworks.
It's gonna be warm.
It's going to be warm.
Okay.
That it is.
Well, we look forward to seeing everyone down at the POCO this year. There's going to be a great car show on Friday night as well. So I hope to see some of those fun classic cars, and of course, all the efforts that have been put in. A lot of stuff for kids this year too. So you folks that have kids, you know, this is what it's about. It's about bringing our community together and having this for the kids and for the greater good of our town. So really excited to have it back. Thank you for all your efforts, Rose.
And I would also like to thank all of our sponsors, because without our sponsors, we would also be remiss not to thank them. They are an
Absolutely.
integral part of the POCO Fest. And I know we have several sponsors sitting out there tonight, and thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
all of your efforts.
Thanks to all of the
We
sponsors and
greatly
volunteers.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on. We can wax poetic about the POCO for quite some time. We can continue to do this, but we'll move on for the sake of the meeting and move on to Police Commission.
There's no regular meeting in July.
Okay, thank you. On to Fire Commission, sir?
So we met last week, just a couple of quick things. The second ambulance continues to show its worth tenfold. The night we met, there was already 7 calls that day, so the call volume has been up, and it's getting used
That's great.
all the time. So, and it's definitely, you know, we don't have stats. As soon as we do, I'll present them to you all, but I'm quite confident that our response times are going to be improving. I can't see how they wouldn't at this point. We've asked several times about the status of the grant for the ladder truck, the tower truck, sorry. And we haven't gotten a notice to say that we're out of the running, so that's a good thing, and we're still waiting to hear on that. Some of the other stuff that was approved in last year's budget, this past year's budget, you know, we're struggling with supply chain issues for like the stretcher, the power stretcher for the second ambulance and stuff like that. Some of that stuff is 12 to 14 months out, so you know, we're keeping an eye on that. But overall, the ambulance is the big piece, and it's going really well. So,
Thank you, sir. It's good to see that it's available for the town members. Not that we want to see more calls, but if there is a call, that there is availability. Make sure they get met quickly. Okay, thank you, sir. On to item E, Planning and Zoning Commission.
Next meeting is August 18th. I missed the July meeting.
Okay, thank you, sir. The Finance Subcommittee?
Finance Subcommittee should be meeting next
Next week.
Tuesday, I believe. They should be meeting.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
On that score, is it possible, given the fact that one of the members, Lisa, is on busy with the primary, can that be moved to the 6/16?
Sure,
And do it before the council meeting?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one are we moving that to?
The Finance Subcommittee.
To what date?
To the 16th, the following
16th.
week,
Okay.
prior to council meeting.
Move that over. Okay. Okay, and on to item G, Public Safety Subcommittee.
The Public Safety Subcommittee did not meet, however, we have been informed that, yes, now they are starting the tower on Tilcon Mountain, so that's a good sign.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. And Town Manager Report. Before you start your Town Manager Report, Mike, for those that don't know, this is going to be Mike's last Town Manager Report, as he is moving on to Plainville, a town closer to him, but North Branford will still be in his heart. We're certainly going to miss him. For those also that may not know, we've been in a process to look for our next town manager, and that's going along well. So hopefully there'll be exciting news sooner rather than later. But I want to take the opportunity to thank you for all that you've done for this town and this council and councils in the past. You're a true professional. Plainville is greatly blessed to have you coming aboard. I'm glad that your commute is shortening so much. That's good for you. But we're certainly going to miss you here. So thank you very much. I know, unfortunately, I was away last week, so I didn't get to attend to your somewhat goodbye party. But I wanted to know that I definitely that I missed it, and look forward to more chats before you do leave. Thank you so much, and obviously you're always welcome to be in this town and come back and see with us and sit with us. So thank you very much for all you've done.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I've enjoyed my time, and as I've told the council, I'll say it, but I would be glad to help within the transition for the next manager that you select. So it's been a great ride, and I've enjoyed myself, and hope to take the great experiences I've had here in North Branford with me to Plainville. So thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. All right, so with that, your town manager report.
Yeah, COVID is top of the list there. Not a whole lot to report. There's an extensive report that we have every meeting, and the numbers have plateaued for the summer, and that's typical. We've seen that before. May shot up to 258 cases. June was 83. July 89. And so as we start August, I could expect to see that would level off and hopefully trend downward as well. And the only complicating factor, in addition to COVID, I'm sure that you're aware of, the variants. And I did respond to Councilor Mace's question in the last meeting about variants, and the BA.5 is running through the communities and all of the communities and Connecticut, and obviously it keeps mutating, and there are other variants that pop up. On top of that, there's the monkey virus outbreak as well. So we're going to continue to monitor that, and unfortunately I don't have any data or information on that, but can certainly look into that and give information report to the council before I leave on Friday.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay.
Next is Permanent Project Building Committee. They met last night, and unfortunately I missed the first hour, but it was a very productive meeting, and I recognize the fact that there are members here that want to speak with you and give you the update for both, for the high school, PD, intermediate school, and the roof. That's what we have listed on our continual update on Permanent Project Building Committee. But I know one of the issues that came up previously was about the fact that use of the attorney Jeff D'Onofrio, and I think maybe if you wouldn't mind taking care of that business first, I think we can get that out of the way, and then you can hear from members with respect to the various projects, because of course later on you have a main issue with the bid and proposal for the construction of the PD. But first, I've prepared a draft proposed motion to extend the services of Attorney Jeff D'Onofrio for all the projects that have been assigned to the Permanent Project Building Committee. I think that'll help them a great deal, and I think that's what they're looking for tonight. So,
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion. The town council hereby authorizes the Permanent Project Building Committee to engage the services of Attorney Jeff D'Onofrio for assistance and legal guidance related to the North Branford Police Department Building Project, NBIS renovation project, and the STW roof replacement.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Councilor Angeloni, second by Deputy Mayor Sampano. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you, Bruce. Okay. Thank you.
Right, so, yeah, I'm not
Yeah, we
sure.
can certainly have the members, if someone, or if you'd like the representation from the Permanent Project Building Committee, please feel free
Yeah.
to take the mic.
And I'm not sure if they talked among themselves of which project you want to go first, but Al, Dave,
Go PD first?
So do you guys want us to get into the, like our recommendation to go forward with the builder now, or do you want us to wait for the agenda item?
Can we move that agenda item up?
Yeah, we
to-
can move that
to
item.
now, so that since they're here, that we can.
Yes, we can do
makes
that.
sense.
Take that, so that that will
Why
be
don't-
the basis of your
Okay.
discussion.
Why don't you, yeah, share with us your thoughts, and we would like to hear your, where you've come to with this, and then we can certainly move that up.
Okay, so we had a, what I would consider as a builder, we had a good, we had a fairly tight bid. And the committee spent a solid week, as long as well as the architect, and I know our Jeff D'Onofrio was involved in vetting the lowest bidder. And so last night, we moved forward a motion to bring it to the town council to go forward and hopefully do it fairly quick, because we need to get this going.
Yeah.
With the low bidder, Newfield Builders.
Newfield Construction.
And I know with that, I'll let Dave run down through the numbers.
So their bid was 12-1, they came in at, and we are looking with your approval to move forward to award Newfield. We had a list of alternates. We've removed 5 of the alternates, and we would like to keep the total package with the PD, the outbuilding, and the op center, a total number of $13,733,000.
Okay, so on your add alternates, the second floor emergency op center for $908,000,
908,
is that what's covered by the grant that we got?
correct.
Okay, I was gonna ask that question myself.
Yep.
Okay, and then item 6, the design build pre-manufacturing storage building
725.
for $725. Was that part of the original building that was presented to us? Because I don't remember that.
The
that-
outbuilding is an
the-
add alternate.
So it's an add alternate, it was always in the
Design.
wish
Or
list.
the wish list, or
It wasn't, it wasn't bid the last go-round.
last year.
So the original bid,
Original,
it was
correct.
not part of that
Right.
as an add
Correct.
alternate?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay.
So,
But it does make it makes a lot of sense from our point of view, and we don't have to sit there and make the decision you do. But, we're here asking for that tonight.
so you guys, right, you guys bonded 12-2 to start the project, correct? And,
Well, no, that was the whole project.
correct, the
That's
12-2.
to start it.
Well, yes, you bonded the 12-2. Started
We authorized to
Authorized.
bond
You
up to
authorized
that.
12-2.
Right.
And with the funding that we're getting from the state and the feds, we're looking for 10 million out of the bond, plus the 4.5, plus the 1, to complete the project at 13.7.
So when we went through these numbers, that number of the 13.7, let me get my glasses again. That leaves us with with the numbers, the way Dave said, that leaves us with around a 10.7% contingency. So we feel.
10.7, you said? No?
10.74,
So-
yeah, contingency.
So we feel good about the project. We feel that with the grants that's been received, now's the time to build the outbuilding and just be done with it.
Do the whole package now, it would be, and we need the outbuilding.
What's the time frame for start of project and possible completion?
1 year.
1 year.
Start. Their new
You
field.
start 1 year,
If
or?
we
No,
did
no,
the- if we did the outbuilding, wasn't there 45 days?
45 days additional.
Additional days on the 45, but Newfield will do the project in a year, be a 45-day extension for the outbuilding. Correct, Lou?
And the EOC.
In the OC.
In the
It's a 14-month project if we do the whole package. And these guys are, these guys are a long-standing company, Newfield. They're well prepared to do the project for us.
Okay, you have
Um,
further them? Okay.
And we'd like, we hope to think that you guys would award them as soon as possible so we can move forward. Time is of the essence if we can get to break ground relatively soon.
So we're talking about breaking ground within the next month or two?
September.
I would think so.
September, I would think, if, providing you guys give us the go-ahead. And Ron, just a note, I've been in contact with the chair of the appropriations on the other grant, and they're so delayed in Washington, but it's still on the table. It's gotten farther than it's ever have, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Thanks for looking into
Yeah,
it, appreciate it.
so. And Michael said he's gonna still attend our every Monday night meeting.
He has so much fun there.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and it was just another note for you. So what I missed last night was, in the calculations, we still have the small steep
There's a
grant.
steep grant, which I think is 125.
128,205.
Right, so there's 128 out of a steep grant that we still have.
Still got to factor that in.
Right, I wanted to talk to you about that today, but I knew you had already knew about it, so.
10% contingency, which ends up being $1.1 million.
So that, yeah,
Yeah.
so that brings
I'm
you.
comfortable with that. Yeah.
So, Mr. Mayor, I think you missed, Mike said that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That we, in our own creative financing, we missed a steep grant for
28,000.
Oh,
That we
okay,
still
so-
have.
So that's still
So it
out
brings it
there,
up
but
to-
not in the
Not in
number
this number, you
that,
guys.
Yeah,
that we were presenting to you.
Also steep grant. Alright. What was that, Michael?
No, it's 128,205.
128K, okay. Okay. All right, I would be comfortable accepting a motion,
all right.
unless we want to have discussion.
Well, so let's.
To amend the agenda,
Yeah.
correct?
We'd
so
have to amend the
let's-
agenda first.
I make a motion to move item 13D up to item 8B.
I'll second that.
A motion by Counselor Angeloni, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? Again, this is just for moving the agenda. Seeing
Yeah,
none?
No, I have some.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the numbers.
This is just to amend.
We're just
the
amending the
I'm
agenda
sorry.
right now. Yeah, that's right. So this
Ahead
is,
of myself.
and then we'll
I'm already
start.
doing the
That's okay.
financial
All right, so
calculations.
just for amending the agenda, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay. So now we'll go into
I
items,
see Tommy's brain working over
Now,
here.
DD.
I would like to make the motion.
okay?
That we award the building of the new police station to Newfield Construction
At the,
at the.
yeah,
total-
sorry.
I'm sorry, I gotta put
That's
the
a-
total in here. At $13,733,000.
Okay.
Including the,
Including
Including
the
the-
op center and
our alternate, what numbers?
Including.
alternate 6 and
Yeah.
7.
Alternate 6 and 7.
Including the
Alternates
design-built
6 and 7.
storage center and the second floor
center.
emergency build center.
Correct, okay. All right.
Those two numbers come up to, I'm sure you guys have, they're 1.633 for
Right.
those two odd alternates.
Mhm.
I will second that.
Okay, motion by Counselor Diamond, seconded by Counselor Angeloni. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Go, go.
So, without the grants, the total, as I read this, our total
About 15.
proposal is 1425, right?
Correct. Total contracted estimated project costs, 14,025.
Oh.
That's what he's just looking at what we have.
I'm just reading down,
Yeah.
just to make sure I
Yeah.
understand
He's
it.
just looking at the.
God telling us something.
This is
Right,
Coco.
without the contingency.
Yeah, thank God, right?
Yeah.
That's what all the
12-1.
alternates we deducted, so that's not
Right.
total.
It's the 12-1 plus the add alternates.
Right, no, but I mean, as.
He's
I'm-
just reading off what
Right.
we're showing him. right
And
this
then,
moment. So we took the 12-1 plus the alternates to get those alternates.
Right, so we lowered it.
We lowered it because we took out all these.
So we took out the other alternates, and that's why it's down from the 14,025.
right, but we're not at, I was looking to try to,
That
I was
rain?
hoping we were
Yeah.
gonna save the 4.5
We need rain.
million. Actually, the 4.5 million plus the 1 million, that's where I thought we were gonna be saving, but it doesn't look like that.
But the base
The-
bid,
the
the base
base-
bid did not include the emergency center on the
Correct.
second floor.
That
Okay.
was
Right.
So
added.
so that is in the bid alternate,
Yeah.
that's taken care of
Yeah.
by the federal grant. Because that cost came in at 908 and the grant is $1 million, so we have about $92,000.
Additional.
Yeah, which is like a 10%
Yeah.
contingency
Yeah,
for just that,
just that one part.
correct.
Correct.
But
Okay.
the 14 million on here, it only includes your two add alternates. It already is, that's all that was added into the base
The
contract.
12-1 and then the 1.6 is the
Right,
two alternates.
so that's the 13,733.
Correct.
And then there's soft cost of roughly 292,000, so that's what gets you to the 14 million.
Includes the adult, but it excludes.
So that number is correct.
The budgeted grant money, except for the steep, which is, adds another 125K.
128K. That's why you're seeing that number like that.
Yeah.
Zeus says we get it done.
Oh, yeah.
Can I have the discussion?
Yes, you certainly can.
One thing I just would like to add is, I guess a while ago, I had made a motion for the police station to be a $7.5 million police station. That was, and now we're talking 14 million. And then we're talking adding extra buildings on, and, I'm kind of disappointed. I'm all for the police station, I want that police station, I'm all for it. But it's kind of like, you decide to build a dream house at 2,500 square feet, and then now you start, adding on, and now we're doing the 5,000-foot dream house and throwing in the jacuzzi and the big garage out back and everything else. I support the police station, but I'm just gonna say out loud, I'm just disappointed that we're ringing it up to 14 million.
And we were quite surprised. I mean, there was 3 pretty close bidders, and I was actually surprised they came in the numbers they did, quite frankly. And the cost today, as Al will tell you, Vic will tell you, Luz will tell you that are in the trades as well as myself. I mean,
Walt's in the trades.
yeah,
every-
you know what the cost of.
I know,
It's
and I'm just,
insanity.
being that what we have going on with the school and stuff, it's just,
Yeah.
we're really, I couldn't let it go without saying, it's just a lot of money,
Yeah.
and, I'm all for the police station, we need the police station, but we're spending a lot of money.
I mean,
We're spending a lot of
there's
money.
no doubt we are spending a lot of money. I truly believe we ought to do it now, though,
Yep.
because I'm not quite sure what's gonna come down the pike. And if we're gonna do the building, we do the outbuilding as well.
So, you, as a builder, you bid the $12 million building. They're figuring to, steal workers and services from that to do the outbuilding. So it makes sense, and believe me, I'm as cheap as anyone in town, but it makes sense if you guys agree that we can handle the funding, that we do, everything that we're.
Do the whole
looking to
package
do.
now.
Get it done.
And just be done with it.
Right.
Well, I remember when I was on Permanent Project Building Committee, you had said to me, Al, that even when prices go up, they never come back down to where they once were. So
Not
we're
where
never
they
going
were,
to
right.
see
Unfortunately.
steel be what steel was 3 years ago. it's going to always, it's going to come down to earth a little, but it's never going to touch where it
And
was.
Mr. Mayor, you saw that firsthand
I
while you
did.
sat with us.
I did.
For an
did.
extensive amount of time, unfortunately.
Our meetings haven't gotten any different.
Well, I
And we're-
thank
and
you
we're-
for the time that you spend on them.
Beating up Gilbane regularly. That's
Yes,
another subject.
I know you guys do, do unbelievable work there. So we thank you for that.
So I just have a question, because I see the little note over here that the $10 million, out of the 12.2, there's 10 million that is allocated to the project, is what you want allocated from the project, but that doesn't include the financing cost on there. So that's my question for Anthony.
Well, another point is the motion that you guys passed for the bond resolution
Is
not
up.
only authorizes 12.
Correct.
That's the most you can spend is 12,250.
Right,
So you're at so we need to go back to bond council and get amended to resolution to bring it to the 14,025 if that's where you want to go. So you can't approve this tonight because your authorization is only 12,250.
Hold on a second.
Even,
but it does, well, we have, the bond authorization has to include
All
the
total costs.
Total cost.
less all of
All
your
the
grants
grants.
coming.
Right.
It'll come in.
Okay.
So your total project cost, Anthony is definitely correct, is more than what, which is more than what we originally authorized.
Correct.
On there.
we have that bond
Okay.
Right.
But,
That's the authorization
that we have.
for bonding as well as the total project cost. So it's a
Right.
simple bond resolution amendment. It's not the end of the world, but you really are only authorized to spend 12,250 currently.
correct.
Total package, total cost of the project, regardless of the financing, everything else,
Or the
It-
grants.
or the grants, everything else. The most you can spend,
Right.
the bond is one issue, the total budget is another issue.
Right.
They're both 12,250.
And as much as we wanted the 4.5 million that Vinnie Candelora got us for the police department to just come off and go over to NBIS, right now, it's not looking like that.
Right.
Unless something severe happens during your construction and you save a ton of money,
Right.
we might get to that number. But also, according to the way this reads, this doesn't include any finance charges, which
It does not.
have to be, which are not
Which
going
has
to
to
be.
be
Issuance cost, interest cost.
Yeah.
Has to be
So you're-
calculated.
We learned that the hard way on the high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that has to
even
be
though
calculated.
even though it looks like
I
we
think that's
might
where you're gonna have to come in.
only,
Yeah,
that we
money
might
back.
not allocate 2.25 million from the police department over, from what we authorized to the actual bill,
Right.
that is wrong, because we're gonna have to take the
Issuance cost, yeah.
issuance cost,
Interest cost.
interest cost,
cost.
everything else, so it's not gonna be that.
It's not going to be 14,025.
No.
Correct,
No.
correct.
So I can work up numbers for you to get an idea and come back, go to bond council and have them revise the authorizations in time for your next meeting, or maybe the first meeting in September, if that's they can turn it around, I'm not sure, but.
But can they not move forward at this point until we
Right,
approve
can you
this?
award,
You're only authorized to spend 12,250. You can amend up to, or authorize up to 12,250. That's
Well,
all you're
so-
legally authorized to
So we can authorize for them, for the
To
construction, the
award.
base bid
right,
of
to
12.1.
do the base bid of
Yeah, 12-1,
12-1.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then you guys can.
And then
And then-
knowing we're going to revise
Come
the
back
bond
with the-
authorization.
So this way,
At least
they
we can
can start on
award.
they can
Right,
award
we
it
get
and they can
started.
start.
Yeah, so we're not dragging this out
I mean, I
another
think you
couple
guys will
months.
meet in a couple weeks, but at least if they get awarded, they can start prep, doing what they
Yeah,
gotta
we
do,
have-
their due diligence.
Right.
and-
We have a meeting on the 16th. Can we get this back
So
by
you
the
have to
16th?
amend-
I'll try. I'll get to them tomorrow and see if how fast they can turn it around.
So
Okay.
you have to
I have
amend
to amend
the motion.
Yeah, so you'll have to amend your motion in your
To-
second.
So we go what
so
number
that
should we
we're
say?
awarding
12-1, 12-1, just the base
the
bid.
construction base bid of 12,100,000.
Bill, is there something you want to add?
Yeah, so the total project that is being asked for, if you look at it with all the grant money, is 15,500,000.
Right.
With the grants.
That's with the grants and the contingencies and everything.
But no issuance cost and no
Right, there's no.
That's correct.
Fine.
no
Finance.
interest, so that has to be added
Right.
on top of that.
So your 15 is probably going to be close to 16 or 17 when all is said and done.
Correct,
But you'll end up with those calculations to go to bond.
right.
This is where it gets concerning, because now we're really looking at real numbers.
Yeah.
And to go from,
12 to 16.
from 7.5 and all the way up, right? And going from our existing police station to our dream police station, or our, proposed. It's,
Real numbers.
it's concerning because it almost looks like to me that we didn't compromise anywhere. And I get it, we need this, and there's codes, I get all that, but I'm just telling you how I feel right now. It's like, we're really in a, you know, with high school and this, I gotta be honest, I'm really concerned for the, you know, the taxpayer.
There's a lot of money spent.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not judging anything, because you guys, I went to your meeting, I know what you guys do.
They're real numbers.
Right,
They're
and
real
now
numbers.
looking us in the face are these real numbers, and it's like,
These are
It's
real
pretty
numbers
alarming.
that come about because we wait on projects.
Well,
no,
And then we wait,
no,
you know,
no.
this project
No,
has been built a
reel
while
it back, come on. No, this is not that. This is because we wanna go, I'm just these numbers mean nothing. 3,000 square foot house to the 14,000
course.
square foot house.
Of course.
What about the 12,000 square foot house or the 9,000 square foot
Yeah,
house?
I get it.
That's where I'm feeling right now, you know, and I just had to express
Yeah,
that
no,
because
it's
this is real.
Would you rather wait to have the entire number in front of you?
You know, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, you know, because
I mean,
I know we need something.
Yeah, the longer we wait, it's gonna
Yeah.
be a problem for the
I-
base bid at least
Right,
to
I-
move forward. Yeah, I know you know,
I'm just expressing a feeling, you know.
it's a hard number to swallow,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, to some point, yes, we've kicked this can down the road for 10 years for the building, unfortunately. 10 years ago, numbers would have been a lot different.
Right.
5
Everything
years
was
ago,
different.
numbers would
I
have been different.
3 years
totally
ago,
get
the
it,
numbers were
because-
different.
Yeah.
We talked
Because
about this.
the
That's
world
what
still
my point was.
continues to evolve. Something's gonna happen next year, and
Yeah.
the next year,
Yeah.
and the next year, as we all see. Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
agree.
Doesn't get cheaper.
I'm just expressing, you know,
I know,
concern I'm
but
feeling right now.
And it's a valid concern.
It's a valid concern, absolutely. You know, every project we got going on between, you know,
Yeah.
North Branford Intermediate, Stanley T, the PD, you know.
Yeah, no, I know.
They're- I mean, I'm sick over North Branford Intermediate, what that's gonna be. I'm
Right.
sick over it, as well as these guys. You know, they sit on it every week with us.
And these are the decisions that we have to make, all these millions that are being spent. Just like the high school, I'm sure that the police station is gonna be 20 million by the time you're done. It's gonna be 20 million. It's gonna be a $20 million police station.
Well, you're 15 and a half walking in
Right
without the
now,
interest
it's
and
gonna be
everything else.
20
plus.
million. We're spending 20 million on a police station. That's where we're at now.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna withdraw my motion,
And I'll withdraw my second.
and I'm
Okay.
gonna make a new motion.
Please.
I'm going to make a motion to award bid number 3, 2021-2022, general contractor services for a new North Branford Police Station to Newfield Construction for construction-based cost of $12,100,000.
Second.
Okay, we have a new motion by Counselor Diamond and seconded by Counselor Angeloni. Is there any discussion?
Yeah.
Please.
What was that number?
$12,100,000.
This one
That's
here.
the con- That's the
That's the base.
construction-based bid.
It's the base bid to get this started
Base
without the
bid
ad
To get
alternate.
it started.
Okay.
And it's underneath the threshold of what we've originally bonded at 12.2, so we're $100,000 under. But yet again, it's not going to take into account finance charges
But
and
it
things.
does get it.
But it gets it to its
started.
awarded before we have to go out to bid yet again. So,
So if we award that to 12 million, right?
yes.
Now we're basically saying,
You're
go.
gonna do the project.
You're doing the project. So now, what's to prevent it from, well, then just being piled up on? Now the project's going, so what happens if it just, now it's even more and more, now it
Well,
doesn't matter.
we lock into the,
train's
we
going
lock
down
the
track.
price.
We lock the
Yeah,
price
it's
in.
almost like that has to go along with the price being locked too. In other words, we're proving the 12-1, but it has to have the actual end game too on that
Well,
motion.
that's gonna come, Anthony has to get us additional numbers.
Yeah,
He has to go to the bond committee.
right, I mean, it's gotta be kind of part of our motion though, doesn't it?
Can we add that to our motion, that contingent to
Contingent
bond
that it's at this
commission?
cost, I mean.
But if it's contingent, then they can't move forward.
Right, we need to move forward on the base bid, but also, you know, we do have already the million for the EOC. So that money's already allocated.
Here's the situation that when we all work together on it, if you look at it from a different standpoint, I get you're looking at $16 million. It looks like 16 million. Vinnie Candelora, by himself, without Christine Cohen's help, brought in 4.5 million. Rosa Delore, with Dave's help, brought in $1 million. We then encumbered all that money and built what we feel is a 50-plus year center, and then some, for what we needed. So we, in our minds, were taking $12,250,000 that the town was gonna give. We took the other money in consideration, that is grant money. What we really need out of the town is only 10 million. If you look at the whole number, it's gonna drive everybody nuts. If you look, we only want 10 million from the town.
Plus the finance charges.
Plus the
Bond.
Bond.
Plus the bond from the finance charges. We're not going past the 12,250,000 that the town already agreed. We took that extra money in the grant money. It has to be spent for specific items. We will lose it. So then we encumbered and built that facility to withstand the 50-year plus center, state-of-the-art center and everything. We didn't take it and say, okay, let's just build it. It's not gonna go to 20 million. We have more than enough in contingencies. Well, there's 10%'s a lot. Everything's there. And we're all comfortable, am I wrong with it? But if you look at the whole number as a whole, it's gonna skew everybody off. We're only asking 10 million plus the finance charges, which is below the base bid that you guys are willing to give. We took the grant money into consideration. It had to be used for specific items. It had to be used for a desk, it had to be used for an EOC. The design took a ton of time to get it to that point. But if you say, okay, we're gonna give you 12,200,000 to start the project, what's gonna happen later is you're gonna skew past the 60, 90 days. If it goes that far, some of these contractors only gave 60 days. If the market starts going the other way.
I don't know if we can legally make that motion, though, because we're at the point where we've only authorized up to 12.2. So we'd have to, before we made this motion, if we were to say, let's say we were all on board with this, and we were saying, we'll authorize 15.5 just as a number. We're not legally viable to do that, because we have only been authorized to 12.2.
Oh, I get that.
So we couldn't even do it tonight.
Yeah, we're not looking for tonight. What I'm saying is times of the essence down
Yeah.
the road for your next meeting,
Just
just
fair.
without getting your bond set and all that encumbered, these numbers can change. They're not gonna hold the numbers. The numbers that they're holding are based on everyday life, right? how
Right,
it
but
is
if
right
we
now.
vote on
I think-
if we vote on the base cost tonight, then we do lock it, correct?
Yeah, that base cost is here.
And yeah.
So Walter, I just wanna, I know, Walt, you're in the business too, but this is unlike the high school. This is a lump sum bid general contractor. He owns the job. The only change orders he can come to are holds and bills drawn. Or something that the town council tells us to add to the project.
Otherwise,
That
he
was a
has to
joke.
stay to that.
But, so it's a lump sum general contractor bid. You know, I build houses that cost more than this, and I own everything. The only extras can be somebody changes something. So I don't think we're gonna get as high as you're thinking. Now, if it was a CM job like we have at the high school, all bets are off. Because we're fighting every week to try and beat that
Reject all
into their
those
head that
alternates.
we're done, build what was drawn, and stop with these
Change
change
orders
orders.
every week.
But this guy can only find a mistake in the drawings or something that the town adds to get a change order.
So I'd just like to ask the town attorney, so the motion that we made, because we've authorized 12.25, and so tonight's motion is to go ahead with the base bid of 12.1, can we do that?
Yes, you're essentially approving this project in two parts. You're approving the base bid tonight to lock in Newfield. Anthony will then get the amended, get the bonding resolution amendment, and you're going to approve the second part of this project, your next meeting.
Can we add that into the?
Do we have to add it in
I don't
the
think you need
motion, or
to
we
add
could-
that tonight.
Okay,
Just the.
just keep it the way it is
The
right now.
Councilwoman Diamond stated was appropriate.
Okay.
And you seconded it.
I just have one point, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
The pro forma that Mark Chapman had done for the police station, borrowing only 6.8, he netted out the 4.5 and the 1. resulted in an estimate of 3.283 of interest for the debt service.
Over the 20 years.
For the 20 years. So the notes, let's see, he's got, I'll give him a call tomorrow.
Well, it's 20 million.
Yeah, well, that's the projection for the whole package, that's not an accurate estimate. I'll get the numbers for you, what the bond interest cost and issuance costs are gonna be. That gets the total package. So it starts at the number and goes up, from there. I'll get numbers for you as soon as I can. I'll work with Mark to get the numbers on the interest estimates, the issuance cost, and I'll get the number to Robinson and Cole to have the revised resolutions.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very important that we have a better understanding of what we're spending here as we're authorizing. Okay, so would you like to maintain your motion and your second?
Yes.
Okay, is there any other discussion before we go to a vote on this?
Mr. Mayor, in talking with Mr. Silver back there, he submitted, he tied into the motion that he authorize a letter to proceed for the contractor tomorrow.
For Newfield.
For Newfield, as part of your motion tonight, so the town can issue that letter to proceed.
If you move forward on it, we need a letter to.
So what was that called?
A letter to,
Basically an award letter to proceed.
Notice to proceed.
Notice to
Notice
proceed.
to proceed.
Notice
With a
to
notice to proceed, can you just add that?
and again,
And I second.
Bill,
the
that would be
amendment.
motion, seconded. Okay.
The notice to,
You want the
Yes.
Okay.
does the
Monopoly money.
notice to proceed come from the town attorney? Or from the town?
I believe we would have it at least looked at by the town attorney.
That's
So,
fair.
Michael, would you author that and then have the town attorneys?
The notice to proceed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I was talking between these two gentlemen here. Okay, any other discussion before we put this to a vote? All right, then, I'm gonna ask for a roll vote on this, please.
All right. Mayor McMillan.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zampano.
Yes.
Counselor Abelson.
Yes.
Counselor Angeloni.
Yes.
Counselor Diamond.
Yes.
Counselor Gold.
Yes.
Counselor Mace.
Yes.
Counselor Palacio.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're off.
Thank you.
So
Finally.
now just real brief.
Thank you very much.
Please.
The high school project is going on as usual. We got out just around, what was it, pretty close to 11 last night, but
Fun-filled
we asked them last night, they still think they're gonna hit the, right around Christmas time to make the transition.
Good.
So they're moving fast, and that makes it's so funny, because a few months back, they said, okay, we're at a point where you guys don't have to meet. You
Yeah.
can meet once a month, and it's like,
Yeah.
they're
Not with
moving
this
so
committee.
fast. The amount of stuff we have to look at every Monday is, it's lively meetings. So the high school's doing well.
That's good.
The
We will be
Rusty-
doing a walkthrough probably
Right.
the next day or two, as soon as Tom, the vice chair, sets it up. We'll be doing a
And then-
walkthrough. There you go? Okay.
Please.
I'll let you know when.
Rusty wanted us to ask, he has the bids about ready to go out, or ready to present for the intermediate school. Right now, he doesn't have just fix what's wrong as a deduct or a add alternate or a minus alternate. So he said if you think we might want to do that and get rid of the whole metal
Roof
roof,
facade.
he needs to know that because he would have to change he'd have to make up a packet that just
Fixes
fixed things and
issues.
Well,
didn't
my-
change the look.
My personal point of view, based on the two projects that are ongoing right now, is I would rather stick with NBIS to fix the problem. And if we want to cost on the facade, do it as an ad alternate, so that we have the decision
Before, yeah.
that we can look at it, and based on all the other projects, we don't even have a number on that
Right.
project.
Right.
I mean, the last number was $7 million.
Yeah.
And we all know
And
that
who
that's
knows?
gonna go higher.
It's gonna be higher.
we authorized to bond up to 10 million. We know that that could go higher also. So, me personally, I want to know what that facade is going to look like. If it's just fixing the
It
roof,
makes sense.
It does.
I agree with that too.
It's a better
I need
decision
more
to do it as
information.
an add alternate.
We have to fix the roof and the brick.
Right.
And the
Correct.
flashings, just not, just so the add alternate would be the
facade.
standing seam,
Yeah.
right.
metal roof,
Which is only a facade. I mean,
where.
It is. The way that
Put
was
it.
presented, it's,
Okay.
you're not putting a
It's
full
just a-
standing seam room on. It's just to block everything off and
Yeah,
kind
it's-
of tie
Tie it
everything
into the
together.
project.
Can't
I
just
mean-
in together.
Right, but if that's gonna cost us millions and millions of dollars
Yeah.
based on
Totally
these
agree.
projects,
Yeah.
I'm
We have to hold-
I
not
think
so
we have
sure
to
that I'm. for
definitely
that.
correct the
Until I
problem
know.
at hand that we have there, which is a major issue to contend
Correct.
with.
Does the facade create another shielding and shifting the waters that could go onto that area?
So it
off?
would, where the pitched roof
That's
is,
what I thought
there'd
it
be
was.
more of an overhang in that.
So
However.
it does have a
if we don't-
functional
it
aspect
does have
to
a
it. It's
functional
not just
aspect.
aesthetics.
However, he also,
It's fixing the
originally,
roof.
he can design it, and we have to address the flashing at the top of the roof and some of the windows. So that, we're gonna have to do.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was understood that
It will.
if this was just aesthetics, that changes this process, but there is a functionality, a mechanical functionality to
And-
this
and-
facade,
and
that
we
it
can
does
have
shed
Rusty
water.
Explain
Yeah,
that to
we
us,
can have
how
him weigh
much it
in.
helps or hurts too, so. And then the other thing, Stanley T, there was nothing new
last night.
on, I guess they're working on that.
No,
Right.
they're gonna-
No, we're gonna come back to
they're-
Yeah, it's in design.
It's in
Okay.
design
So,
phase.
so on Stanley T, that also is an add alternate for a standing seam roof in the areas that they can do it, correct?
Correct.
Right.
I mean, just,
Yeah, that's an add
I
alternate.
don't know.
okay, all right.
Yep.
And I believe, to go back to NBIS, I believe that Brian and Rich, and Chris, you can check in on this. We're going to do a little bit of research to see if we have any viability to go after the
Right.
builder or the architect,
I would try anything that you possibly could.
being that we're,
I mean, I don't know if the
we're,
statute of
what, 10,
limitations
12 years
are
out from building the school, and we're having such issues with this, and it wasn't a cheap bill.
We never didn't have issues.
Right. It was
Exactly.
day
It
one.
was
So,
always
I think
ongoing.
they were gonna look at the point of origin for these problems was well within the time frame that you would have warranty.
And I'm
You
sure
spent
there's
your whole career.
documentation.
I believe they are looking
From
at
day
it.
one.
Thank you.
Of
Okay.
issues there, so.
Yeah, if we can have them just
I'm sure we have that.
give us an update on that
Mike
possibly,
knows.
that'd be helpful.
Will do.
Well, we
Thank you,
handed it
Chris.
to you after the Board of Ed gave up.
Right.
That was 2016.
Okay, and we would
That
still
was
be
when
4
town
years out
council
from
took it
state
over.
money as
Right.
well, I think,
Yes.
at least.
The Board of Ed had
Correct,
been trying,
correct.
so.
Okay. All right, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
So there's one
Appreciate
other
it.
item on our agenda, and that is the job description for the clerk of the works, which is, I believe, for the police department.
Yep.
Can you just shed a little light on,
Please.
before you leave, just,
Okay.
like, did you look at that job description?
Yeah, we
and-
wrote it.
We did, and then we,
To and from.
so when we, that was last week we got it, and we did change a few things in it.
So you're fine?
Yep.
So
With it
the way
then.
we corrected it,
Okay,
we wanted 15 years' experience in
I saw
commercial
that, yeah.
construction. And,
Saw that.
and that was it, as far as our
okay,
Detail to it.
experience. What we're doing, well, we're looking for someone like you or me or Victor or Lou, who's got the time to go in there but walking down the hallway or around the perimeter says, this doesn't look right, because I've seen it for 20 years and it just, that isn't right. And so
Eyes.
we did that on
Eyes on the
on
job.
Jerome Harrison, and we did it on the auditorium, and we didn't do it that way on the,
The Albatross.
on either the high school or the,
Right.
so the high school, we have, you know, we have an awesome clerk of the works as far as paperwork
Paperwork.
goes. But our weekly or bi-weekly walkthroughs of the high school, especially, you know, Lou and Victor because of and Tom, I don't know if Tom's here or not.
Tom was coming.
You know, because of their commercial tradespeople, you know, we can't walk through the building without something that has to be addressed. So.
Every walkthrough.
So we, after our experience,
Which
We don't
really
need,
should
we
be
don't
the-
need the paperwork for
Right.
the police station.
What
We need
really should be
somebody
the clerk of
there.
the works that we have now for the high school should also be doing that in addition to the
that-
clerk of the works of the paperwork.
That was absolutely the vision that was sold to us.
Correct.
Right.
And again, I was
Yeah,
on
you
the
were there.
committee, sitting next to Al, and we both had these discussions and made it very clear,
And
but
as you know,
unfortunately, that might
Mr.
not
Mayor,
be.
Marnie left, somebody else replaced her, but, you know, in a sense, yes, they are doing their daily inspections, weekly inspections.
They
They're
just, they don't have the experience.
Right, they don't. So with all of us there, picking up after where they leave off.
And you guys know me, I'll tell it like it is.
Yep.
The people that are in there working for Gilbane don't have the experience either.
So between them and us, you know,
Because
it's,
they got two guys watching there, and when our mechanical guys walk through the building, they see these things, and then we go back out to the parking lot, like, why didn't they see that? So, they didn't see it because they don't have the experience.
Yeah, their eyes don't have the.
but the paperwork end, as you know, Mr. Mayor, it's critical, so.
It is.
We're, you know, and which I believe they are in tune with Anthony regularly, correct, Anthony?
So.
Yeah, the paperwork, so people that are listening in the audience, it's the way that we're getting back any portion of this
41%.
41%. And if we miss just small amounts of this paperwork,
State
it
doesn't
could
have
be
to pay
a
us.
tremendous amount of A, delay, or B, not getting back funding. So we're not, when someone says, oh, they're helping with paperwork and shuffling paperwork, this goes far beyond that. This is a job that, you know, is very important in order to get our bonding down tremendously and the cost of this overall project down
And
tremendously.
you were there, Jeff, when we were interviewing those, that, we were looking for somebody strong in that.
To do that,
because
correct.
we felt that we needed
And
help
unfortunately,
there.
Marnie left.
So,
She
Yeah.
moved out of state, and we picked up someone else from their company.
Does Chris still partake?
Once in a while, he'll come to a meeting, but there's another fellow there regularly with us.
Okay.
And we are, as Al said, you know, I mean, Gilbane brings change orders like it's part of their job. And we reject
Kind of is.
a lot of it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Al and I were walking out last night, and Gilbane wanted to, you know, kind of tell me, I know you're upset, Dave. I'm tired of change orders, you know? And he says, well, reject them all. I said, no problem, I'll reject them all.
yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's a game.
They're a money machine.
It's a game.
So, but we got a good group, with Vic, Lou, Tom,
We have the best group.
myself, Al,
Thank you.
you know, we
Well, we
are.
thank you.
So,
I know the effort you guys put into it, so thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, thank you for the efforts on everything, and I know it's a lot of money on all of it.
We owe you at least a soda and a popcorn and
Thank you.
ear of
Iced
corn
tea is
and
better.
potato at the Potato Fest.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. Okay, on to item C, contract for John Refuse and concept for transfer station.
Yes, this is sort of two parts to it, and again, this is more informational purposes only, not required action. It's just more to, as Michelle is departing, I'm departing, it's something to work on in the future, to plan out, so it's not, you know, an action item, but just to be aware that we're in year number 2 of the John's contract, and you know, includes bulky waste, but years, starting in year 3, which is July 1st, 2023, their contract doesn't include that. So it's an opportunity to begin the negotiations now. And I say two-part, and I put them together because we have an opportunity within this discussion to coordinate and talk with them, or maybe even collaborate with them about a potential use of one of our pieces of land, locally referred to as the Sinkwee property up off of Middletown Avenue, that could potentially serve as a transfer station. And that could be a public-private partnership in terms of, you know, we own the land and lease out and have a partnership with John's to operate potentially. But again, these are just conceptual ideas that we should think and put together as you, again, and I won't be here, will be designate, but the council will delegate to the next manager to begin the negotiations and to maybe wrap these together. In addition to that concept for the contract with John's and bulky waste and the transfer station, that particular property and its location is of great interest to an abutting business owner, Capasso and Sons, and that's why you have a letter and communication in there as well. The highest and best use that the council may have to struggle with is whether or not to use it for a transfer station as part of future garbage collection and study of that, or maybe the highest and best use is to auction it off and go to accept bids and proposals, and certainly one abutting property owner is definitely interested and has shown interest in that, and that would allow that operation, which is a large operation, to expand and do more. So you could put it, essentially put it on the tax rolls.
Okay.
So it's food for thought. It's in there. I know Don is here from the, Hasways committee. They've been engaged in it. Tom Scelfo has been helpful. All of the members are engaged and very passionate about what they do in terms of the contract and activities related to garbage recycling and so forth. So I'm not sure if you have any questions at this time for Donna or anyone, but certainly going forward, I think they could be a resource for you as you try to get through the process.
Okay. I'd ask that you, put something, this is obviously something that's going to be important for the next town manager to go through. If you could put some notes and summary in writing for them to have as a reference point on this, it'd be appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. I will leave the file.
Appreciate that.
Next item is item D, is just an update on the registrar's, from the registrar's office on the primary season, and I just have a prepared message that I just wanted to read, if I could, just on the importance of the upcoming primary. So I'd like to advise a few updates to the polling locations due to the state redistricting plan, that the town has gained a third voting district. The newly formed District 3 was first utilized in the May 10th, 2022 budget referendum. In collaboration with the Board of Education, we were able to keep Northford's 2 voting districts, 2 and 3, centrally located in the Stanley T. Williams Community Center. District 2 shall remain in the gymnasium, while District 3 shall be in the Board of Education meeting room. And they've attached the street listings, and we can certainly post that to the website. And there'll certainly be signage for the polling locations. So on another note, District 2 polling location change for August 9th, primaries only. Due to unforeseen circumstances, District 2 will vote at the Stanley T. Williams Community Center in the Senior Center Candelora Room, and District 2 will revert to its regular polling location in the gymnasium for the November election. So some issue with scheduling and operations there with camp activities and so forth. So I think it's just important to use this opportunity for the council to get that information out there, that there are indeed 3 voting districts. We're doing our best, they're doing their best to get the word out and make sure people are informed before they head to the polls.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
Item C is just an update on Public Act 2274 regarding revaluation. And I know David Ambrose is here to answer any questions, but essentially, in a nutshell, it's moved up the timing from 2025 to 2024 based on the Public Act.
You may. Yes, please, Mr. Ambrose.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I don't know who is behind, what group behind this Public Act, but I do know 2 things. That, one, it moves back our reval from 25 to 24, and it also guarantees that the same number of towns will reval every single year. Do we have time for a quick observation?
Sure.
What I find interesting, and I guess that I'm thinking about, is that we won't know the true impact, whether this will be negative or positive, until 25. What I mean is, I could use our 20 grand list as an example. Our values went up 4, 5, 6, 7% from 15 to 20. If we were slotted the following year, we would have seen values increased by 30 to 35%, and that's only 1 year. And by the way, those values were legitimate because there's sales to prove that. Now, what would worry me if I was one of those towns is what's going to happen from 21 until their next reval. Will those numbers hold? Nobody knows. But right now we're in a recession, or we're going into a recession. Right now the definition of a recession is fluid.
Yes.
But inflation is going to chip away at those values. And even right now, the feds are battling inflation by increasing interest rates. So it looks to me like those values are going to take a hit. So we're not going to know what's going to happen, 24 versus 25, like 20 versus 21. Now we know that there's a big increase in values from 20 to 21, and that we were fortunate to revalue in 20. Make sense?
It does.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any proposed action necessary?
No, it's more
Just
informational.
informational?
It's just,
It's just FYI, basically.
FYI.
It's not earth-shattering, but it's noteworthy.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thanks for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Michael, thank you again.
sure.
Everyone as well, thank you very much. Moving on to item 9, community events and presentations. None. Seeing none, we're going to move on to item 10, citizen statements, petitions, and correspondence. Mr. Potter, how are you, sir?
Doing well.
Good. If you would state your name and address.
Cliff Potter, Northford, Connecticut, concerned citizen. And can I shake this man's hand?
You certainly can. I love
Thank you,
the
Michael, for everything.
Yeah, thank you.
I bugged him more than probably my limit should have been, but. So we'll see what the next manager can tolerate. Again, thank him for all his work. Well, he was here twice. He left once and came back, so he really was a glutton for punishment. I sent you all an email. I have concerns. We have like a 4-star building here. Planning, finance, EDC, and the nuts and bolts are there. But what I'm not seeing is consistency. I brought up in my email the fact that you've got planning and zoning, and it's troubling me. You have one man writing a lot of practices and stuff. And then he comes to the meeting and he shares these, and they're almost immediately adapted. I was always under the impression that when you have a commission or a committee, more than one person puts stuff together. It's a collaborative effort to put your thoughts together and make it a meaningful thing. I don't see that happening. Inland wetlands, same thing. Lots of times stuff is just thrown together. I don't know if it ever gets to your level, and that's what I want to see happen. They all report to you. It became an issue when the recycling committee went out and did their own bidding. It never got, you are the overhead. You guys, you're like the parent that has to discipline the child. Not always pleasant, but it's got to be done. We have a chance. There was going to be a big group meeting concerning Firelight and in general, the future of this town. That meeting never happened. I've been talking with Roger. Great guy. I'm a Farmall guy. He's a John Deere guy. We razz each other and then we talk. He's got good ideas. But I mean, you got a chance to move this town forward. You've got to meet with these people, but you all got to meet. You got to have a great big meeting where you can all have input, immediately get response. You can't go by the report you get. And I mean, Tommy, you weren't there at the last one. You don't really know what happened at planning and zoning. Do you watch the films afterwards? I do. I watch them live and then I rewatch them because I want to get my facts right. It's got to change the way we're doing business. Something as big as that Firelight project's got to be addressed by this whole building. All the departments should have input, ideas, what can be done different. I mean, I want to congratulate Rod and Anthony and everybody else that worked on the ambulance situation. When you got all those heads together, guess what? We had success. I'd like to see that happen here with the future of our town. But it's got to be a big open meeting where you all get the information at the same time from the same people doing the same jobs. It's not happening. They're fragmented and stuff gets through and then all of a sudden it's the law, but they don't know the long-term effects of the law that they just put into existence. Now you got another problem. You're stuck with something you really didn't know you had. A builder or somebody comes up to you, and they can't move forward. And again, our town, I hate to say this, I keep repeating ourselves, we are known as a very hard town to deal with as far as new buildings and stuff. We don't need that reputation. We should have a welcome mat that says, builders entered here, we want to help you. Instead, they come before these commissions and they get beat up. How many more times are they going to come back? Mr. Belafonte, guess what? He's working in Rocky Hill now. He got sick of waiting. He's doing a big project up there. Did you guys know that? Okay, so again, we got to make these people feel welcome. We don't have to, you don't have to grant them everything they want, but you got to give and take and get the pulse back in this town where you guys here you guys are always good. Not so much these other commissions. So I want to see growth. I want to see my taxes go down, but I want to see this be the great town that it is. And you will see that Saturday. Rain, sleet, hail, snow, we'll still be having fun at the Potato
Hopefully
Fest,
not
right,
snow.
Rose? So we can, and that's the spirit of this town. And that lady, I don't think she slept in 4 months. But she has given 400%.
Absolutely.
And so that's how this town is. When things get tough, we get together, we work out. And I want that atmosphere to stay. But I want these commissions to be held accountable. I don't want to see one man writing zoning laws and carte blanche, they go on the town rolls. I've never saw the man before until he got appointed. He doesn't have any back history. And again, I think it needs to be addressed. We need a transfer station. Tucket Road's not a place to dump trash. Woodhouse Avenue's not a place to dump trash. But any small town road that's not frequently traveled becomes a trash collector. If we had a transfer station in Northford, run by Bizzuto's, I think it would be a very welcome sight. Because we don't have any place. I mean, and we need a place so we can keep our properties clean and cleaned up. And I think it needs to be in Northford. That's my view. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. We appreciate that.
I just want, if the town attorney can comment, I know, Cliff, you
Okay.
talked about the planning and zoning
Yeah,
and
okay.
inland wetlands.
Yes.
So the town council does not have jurisdiction over
It's actually
them.
illegal.
Correct me if I'm wrong, town attorney.
They have statutory authority as well as authority under our charter.
Yeah.
The planning and zoning and inland wetlands.
Correct.
And that's designed not by us. I mean, part of it is through charter, but we can't control what they do.
We
It's
can
separate.
influence, but we can't control.
Right.
So we can have conversations with them, but ultimately it's illegal for us to make rulings on zoning.
To tell them-
Just so you know that part of it, that,
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
there a procedure, though? Can one man write up zoning laws?
I mean, if you have the members of that particular committee, and I'm not saying that that's the case, it's what's happening, candidly, I don't know. But if the members of that committee are allowing that to take place and they're not putting in their 2 cents, then yes, essentially, someone can be the strongest person in that
Well,
committee.
they have written things, one person has written things.
I think they all-
But they review it and they discuss it.
That's what I believe.
And then they vote on it.
But do they,
Absolutely.
but he writes such a deep thing. I don't think they review that night, how can they read it all unless they already have? I just
You'd hope they
question
have it prior.
It doesn't smell right, all right? Let's put it that way. It
I would-
doesn't- When
I
you
would
had Joe
contend to say-
Fornin, when you had Mr. Statesman, Joe Fornin on planning and zoning, that wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just want to see, I don't want things to sneak into the town rolls, and then all of a sudden, because again, all the builders do not like doing business with our town. And it becomes a game. How can I get through this commission? When in fact, it shouldn't be. We should welcome them, and I don't see that. And I want to see it, I want to see
I
it.
get it. And I encourage people to become part of these committees if they're concerned, to be part of these committees
Yes.
and volunteer. It's important to have as much input as possible.
Okay.
So thank you, Mr. Potter. I appreciate
Okay,
your time
clear
today.
that up, though. They can go
Mr.
ahead.
Mayor, if I could just say something. Mr. Potter, I agree with you, and there was one other instance, without going into detail in town, where I think we lose sight that these boards and commissions, the people that work in this building, we are customer service. And I think that's gotten lost along the way, and we're not unique in North Branford. I think a lot of towns and stuff like that. We should not be finding ways to put up walls, we should be finding ways to help people navigate the system and meet their goal.
Exactly.
So I agree with you wholeheartedly, and it's disappointing to hear some of this stuff.
Well, it's-
And I'm with you, we need to, we talk about it all the time, about EDC and how to improve things in this town and get more businesses in, and that's a huge starting point right there, so I agree.
Yeah, no, it's just, sure, the law, but I mean, you shouldn't be going over it with a magnifying glass. There can be a gray area, and you can suggest to a builder, well, maybe you could try this. And I'll bring this out because Eric's resigning. We aren't in Westbrook, we're North Branford. Eric had a habit of always saying, well, we do it this way in Westbrook, and he was trying to model stuff in our town as if he was still in Westbrook. That, he's going, but that had to stop. We're North Branford and Northford. Stop trying to write a seashore town practices into a farming community. That was a pet peeve I had, I'm sorry. I'm on my soapbox, so you guys can knock me off. I mean,
Well, I'm gonna have to knock you off soon enough. We do have to move forward, but Mr. Potter, we
Okay,
truly
thank
do
you.
appreciate your time.
okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any other citizen statements, petitions, correspondence? All right, seeing none, thank you, Mr. Potter, again. We're going to move on to item 11, as alluded prior. We're going to first appoint Lisa Valenti, item A, appoint Lisa Valenti as acting town manager. Lisa, thank you very much for accepting the additional role amongst the many other things that you're doing here for town. I believe we have to,
I'd like to make a motion that the town council hereby appoints Lisa Valenti as acting town manager beginning August 6, 2022, until a permanent replacement is confirmed.
Second that.
okay, I'm gonna give that to Mr. Goode. I heard him first.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna get a motion to Counselor Angeloni, second to Counselor Goode. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. And then we're gonna move on to, again, as alluded, item B, we'll accept the resignation of Eric Knapp as town planner. We see that Mr. Knapp is moving on to, as a land use coordinator for the town of Old Lyme, so we wish him the best luck. We thank him for his time here in North Branford, and we wish him the best of luck in Old Lyme, and we wish Old Lyme the best of luck as well. So thank you very much. Okay. Item 12, unfinished business discussion and action. Item A, discussion and action of ARPA funds, tabled to September. Seeing none, we're going to table that. We're going to go item B, Foxton Road, Route 80 sewer extension, table from May 3rd. And that's also is tabled to August. I believe we're going to be talking about that. Victor, is that end of the second meeting?
Yeah, probably.
How we looking there? You don't have to come up, but how we looking?
There'll just be a little more info than what I have right now
Okay.
to discuss that.
Okay, then we'll look
Better
for,
suited for end of August.
all right, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Well, do
Okay.
you want to wait until the first meeting in September? Is that,
We can,
because the next meeting is August 16th, it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, table it till September.
all right, can you make
Okay.
that note to table to
We'll see you in
September
September.
first meeting?
Working on a few things just to get.
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
better-
I mean, I don't want you to have
Fair.
to come up with something just for the sake of,
Yeah, first in September's good.
okay,
There's balls rolling on it, it's just.
okay.
a
As the
slow
song
process.
goes, we'll see you in September.
Yeah.
Right.
Make note, this is just something that's just remembered, being that it's August, but it's not on unfinished business. If you'd make note to the animal control for the first meeting in September as well, please. Okay, item C, discussion and possible action, draft agenda of the Board of Ed use of the Auger House. Where are we on that?
I understand from Attorney Leclerc that he's still updating the contract.
Okay. Okay, so that has been extended yet again. So we'll move on from that. Item D, review and approval of permit projects, building committee and ordinance.
Yeah, I don't see there's any movement on that unless I'm reading the council wrong.
No, I
think
believe that's
we can
gonna
just
be, we could pull that off
pull
of.
that off the agenda.
For now. Yeah, if you would, we can review that again in the future. Item E, discussion and action of increasing purchase threshold. I believe also that's something we're gonna pull off for now. that we'll revisit in the future. Item F, award bid of RFP number 22-23, agent broker of record for North Branford and Board of Education Employee Benefit Program.
Okay, so the question on this was, you know, what do we get for $20,000? Because there's not a lot to review.
No.
I talked to the broker, and I'm just waiting to connect with Martha to get on her side, because according to the broker, there were many dealings with the board. Admittedly, nothing on the town side, because both of our plans are pretty stagnant and confirmed. But there was activity with the Board of Ed. So he said, remember, your $20,000 covers both sides. So I'm waiting to talk to Martha to see exactly, to gauge that. I did mention to him about the going forward aspect, and he said that he is very willing to shop our insurance to see if he can do better than the state plan. He said he has also, as I mentioned previously, other towns that he's moved. And he said that, you know, for the lot $20,000 lump sum, he said, that's my commitment. If I have to come there 7 times a week, it's not going to change off $20,000. He said, so I'm admitting to you that in the past, on the town side, it's been pretty low maintenance. But my word to you is going forward that if I do look to shop this around and there's a lot more involved activity-wise, I'm not going to alter it above the $20,000. So I'm waiting to talk to Martha to see exactly what level of engagement she had in the past. He made some suggestions that there was a lot of engagement, but I don't know exactly how to quantify that, so I talked to Martha.
Want to push it to the 16th?
Please.
Well, the other thing is, so teacher negotiations has started, which is one of the biggest contracts in the town. So I think that's an important aspect. If they're going to shop, I mean, we need to know that now.
Right.
If that's something that's going to get put on the table, what's going to
My
happen?
understanding is, I think the board, I saw an email today, the board wants to come to meet with us before our next meeting, so maybe that's when we discuss that.
That could be.
Okay.
Could be.
I mean, just before we commit, and
Yep.
if this 20,000 is all being spent on the Board of Ed side, then personally, it should be theirs, not, I mean, if the town's not using it at all.
Yeah. Historically, we budgeted on this side.
Yeah, I know.
We've paid the
but
bill.
we're paying the bill.
It's like the auditors. We budget the auditors on our side of the house, and they do work on both sides.
I know, but we're budgeting this and we aren't using it.
You're correct. You're correct. Globally, in the big picture, we are.
Historically.
Right, in the big picture of the town.
Correct.
slash Board of Ed.
How do we give it to them now, then?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, is we need to
Yeah.
find, that's why Anthony needs,
Yeah.
he's
We're gonna
gonna
push
get
that to
that,
the 16th.
get that information from them as to how much they've used it, what they used it on, that type
Yeah.
of thing.
Worth its
And-
while.
Plus, we should just talk
But
to
what I'm saying
them.
is,
Right.
how do we give it to the Board of Ed now?
No, well, we could not award it for ourselves, and then
They
if
could
they
reward
need
it
it, then they would have to go out to bid for it.
Okay, so we're going to move on to item G, award bid of RFQ/P number 5, 2021-2022 web design and development.
I think that we should wait on that, but when we have a new town manager.
I agree
think
with
Based
that.
on the people we've interviewed, that they all have a lot of knowledge about websites.
Marie stole my thunder. I was gonna say the same exact.
I agree.
I
So
think
why
we
don't,
are all in agreement on
Yeah,
that.
why don't we push that to the September
Second.
second meeting?
The second meeting.
That we're hoping will be closer.
And Anthony and Dennis are doing some due diligence in terms of the proposals and responses that they're going through, so.
Good.
I'm sure they can add to that conversation when you get to it in
Great.
terms of design.
All right, well, thank you, Anthony.
You want to push that out to September then?
The second meeting is,
September meeting, September.
No. We've been there, done that.
We're gonna re-see.
Everyone's got jokes over this end tonight. Okay, so we're gonna now move over to new business. Item 13, new business discussion and action. We're gonna accept an appointment for the Assistant Director of Public Works. I believe there's prepared
Yeah.
motion.
Yes, and if I could just first report,
Please.
unfortunately, as the first agenda had a placeholder there for the appointment of a tax collector, and unfortunately did not work out, and the candidate had to withdraw. So I'm circling back, trying to put together a strategy there with review of other candidates that were in the mix there. So I'll hand off to Lisa and have them report back on the next meeting. So
Okay.
in lieu of appointing the tax collector, we did make headway on selecting and making an offer for the assistant director, and the director, Fran Marola, is here with our candidate, who's an internal candidate, and, as my memo indicates, lengthy process there. It's been a while, and I'm going to defer to Fran, but the memo is before you with the recommendation appointment of Danny Celentano as the Assistant Public Works Director.
Fantastic. Fran, you want to take a moment to say a little something? And Danny, feel free to come up as well.
I'll come up after Fran. Yeah.
Sure.
So, after, it's been, I think, like a year and a half.
Yeah.
But Mike and I spent a lot of time on this. It was a process that I thought was going to be a lot simpler than what we went through. But we went through a lot of different people, and we wanted to get the right person that's going to fit for not only our department but our town.
Mm-hmm.
And the last week was when it all came down. So it was. I think Dan's going to be a great assistant, and he's going to be doing some learning and running.
Yeah.
But I believe he's going to be a good fit for our department.
Well, that's great. Dan, you got some big shoes to learn from.
Definitely.
And there's no one better in this business than Franny, so blessed to have that. You want to come up and say a little something?
Yep. So,
Franny,
I'm Dan
thank you.
Celentano. I'm accepting the new role as Assistant Director of Public Works. I just wanted to give you a briefing as to who I am. I born and raised North Branford, lived here my whole life. I wouldn't go anywhere else. I currently live here with my wife, 1-year-old daughter. I graduated North Branford High 2014 and started working for the department the day after I graduated as a part-time helper.
Awesome.
So working from the bottom up, 8 years now. First half on grounds maintenance, second half on road maintenance. So looking forward to putting the experience to use with learning from Fran and running and improving the department. That's about it. Thank you for your time.
We're excited to have you. I think Franny's made a great choice. We hope that you are part of this crazy town for as long as you'll have us. So
Yep,
we look
up
forward
for the
to-
challenge. Thank you.
That's fantastic. It's great to see a hometown guy
I just like
move up the ladder.
I just like to say congratulations to Danny. He's Walt and I's neighbor. Comes from a fantastic family.
Sorry, Danny.
Yeah. Hey, not everybody's that lucky, right? I love that it's an internal candidate. I love that he's a lifelong resident and he's invested in the town. He's raising a family here. And obviously, if he's got Franny's stamp of approval, then we don't need anything else. But congratulations, and I'm happy for you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, congrats, Dan. Known the family for many years. I too want to express the same sentiment. It's great to see someone come up through the ranks, someone that is in town. And the council has been talking a lot about succession planning. And this has been a position that we have looked at for a long time. Franny we had it in the books, off the books, because something else came up.
Yep.
And we finally said, we need to get this and keep it on the books and do something. And he was, very happy that we were. I'm very happy that it is an internal candidate and it is you. I know your work ethic, I know your family, your father, you have come from a great background. So welcome into this position.
Thank you very much.
Right, Franny, you only have about 30, 35 more years doing this?
So I'd like to make a motion in accordance with section C6-3 of the Charter of the Town of North Branford. The Town Council hereby confirms the Town Manager's appointment of Mr. Daniel Celentano to serve as the Assistant Director of Public Works with a salary of $80,000 and a starting date of Monday, August 8th, 2022.
Second.
I had it all set up for you.
All right, look at this. All right, well, I have, it's always fun to get that second here in the town council. So we have a motion by Councilor Angeloni. We have a second by Councilor Goat, with a quick trigger second. Is there any discussion?
I'd like to speak up and mention the same thing that Ron and Rose said. I was really going to say the same thing word for word. Known the family for years. My kids have been good friends with the family. Comes from a great family. His father's got a construction business, so he could definitely handle anything that's got to be done there.
Cool.
Franny, you couldn't have made a better choice.
Thank you all.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to see someone coming up through the ranks and, will understand this town much more than just a job, but as a home.
Exactly.
Well, thank you. So, we have a second and, I'm sorry, a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Welcome, I guess.
Thank you.
Welcome again, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Item B, review and approval of administrator's job description.
There are several, it's the group.
Yeah,
Okay.
I personally, I would like to see this table.
Table for a
because
minute.
there's just so many of them, and I just have a couple questions as far as, like, on all of the departments that have an assistant or deputy or someone else, has the head person looked at the job descriptions to make sure that they encompass, like assistant town clerk, did Lisa look at that job description to make sure that that is what the job encompasses? The, assistant public works director, did Franny look at that job description? The police chief, did the police commission look at that job description? Fire commission, did they look at the fire department, the chief? Those are all, the library.
100%.
Did they look at the assistant to make sure that it encompasses everything?
So
So
you-
before, I think we
I
take
agree.
action
Yes.
on those that it's part of the department, a position within a department, and there's a director, I think those job descriptions have to be looked at.
Absolutely. Are we looking towards, and would we like to table this till the first meeting in September? Give a
Yes,
little bit
at
more
least,
time?
yes.
That's my thought as well. Let's have this noted as it's tabled until the minimum first meeting of September.
But in the meantime, make sure that the department
Correct.
heads look at and come back with any corrections,
Updates.
suggestions,
Yeah.
updates to
Absolutely.
them. I know there's staff accountant in there. Did Anthony look at that staff accountant job description to make sure, So there's a lot of departments that there's multiples, and I think the department heads need to look at that.
Okay, so
before it comes to
we'll
us.
push that out and we'll table it for now until the first meeting in September and possibly the second. Okay, thank you. Next item is item C, review and approval of clerk of the works job description. I'm not sure if we're ready for this as well.
Well,
We did
the-
have a conversation, we had an update earlier, but
Yeah, and they have already approved this. They've read
they
this.
have approved through it?
Yeah, and
Okay.
the only correction that I have, just so that it's a matter of consistency, so it's on page 77 of
Mhm.
our packet, is under the first paragraph, or this general purpose, the second last line, it says, under the auspices of the building committee. I think that should be permanent project building committee,
Sure.
because that's how it's referred to in the rest
Yeah.
of the document.
Agreed, yeah.
Just so that we're consistent.
Good catch.
But Permanent Project already looked at this and made the changes that they wanted to see in it. So I would be prepared to vote on this tonight, just so that they can start this, so that it's consistent, that person can be on board when they start everything else.
Especially if there's,
Yeah.
gonna start
I'm willing to accept the motion.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the position description for clerk of the works as permanent project, it's a special project, with the note, with the correction of adding permanent project building committee under general purpose.
Second?
Okay, motion by Counselor Angeloni, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? All right, that passes, thank you. Okay,
You still there, Bruce?
Bruce is hanging strong.
Well, that's because he ate.
That's true, he ate, unlike us. Yeah.
We didn't have to worry about it.
All right. We've already done item D, we moved that up to 8B. So we're going to skip to item E, assessment deferral program, application for Mill Pond Tavern.
Yeah, and David is here as well, can speak to that, but this is a program We've done a number of businesses that have passed through the program, or the council has approved. Mill Pond Gathering and Mill Pond Tavern has applied as well, and that's what we're seeking approval on that as well. And
But was this one of them that, because you're supposed to apply prior to starting the project?
Yeah.
And this is one that we asked you to go back and see if
Yes, we
anyone
did.
did not.
The assessment increased by 146%, so they meet that requirement. The taxpayer's savings will be around $70,000 over the course of the 4 years. But I think you have to waive that requirement, that you have to break ground after the application is approved. So that's in the application itself. It's one of the requirements.
Correct, and then I remember at a council meeting, whether it was earlier this year or last year, when we asked about this, if there was any businesses that would qualify that did not apply for it.
There are not.
And if this is one of them, because he started work before in 21.
He did, but, I mean, the program is to incentivize, these projects, so I think this application is my Frankenstein because it's too complicated. I think I'm going to streamline it going forward.
Okay.
And I'll give some slack to that requirement.
Okay.
Maybe within a certain number of days, he can seek approval.
And that's fine, I mean, the goal
Right,
is to
correct.
make it easier for
Mhm.
businesses and to attract businesses.
It's-
And so if refining this process helps that, then by all means,
I
come
plan
back
on
to
doing
us.
that. I am going to do that. And
Yeah.
make it more user-friendly and, again, streamline it and make it more friendly. Like, that one requirement, I'll ease back on the restrictions. I'll make it maybe a certain number of days after construction begins, they can apply for the deferral.
Right. And I think part of this also came up because of during COVID and, not everything was easily accessible and we've had some changes in departments here, is that we need to make it more known to people when they come in and apply for permits and all of this other stuff.
I agree, and I discussed this with Eric. Now he's leaving, there's a sign, there's information over there, there's a packet. When they come in, they're informed of the program.
Okay. So do you need a motion by us to accept this?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to accept the assessment deferral program application for Mill Pond Tavern.
Second. All right, motion by Councilor Angeloni, second by Councilor Palicia.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? All right, David, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Appreciate that. Okay, on to item E.
F.
Lease purchase agreement for DPW equipment and Board of Ed technology upgrades. Sir?
Yes, sir. Annually, the Board of Ed enters into a 4-year lease purchase, paying $70,000 a year for technology to keep things fresh. This year, coupled with that, Public Works is going to obtain a new Mack truck valued at about $290,000. So I have a stable of folks that I solicit pricing from. These are the 4 respondents that I received, ranging from 3.33 TD Equipment Finance, who we've used consistently for the last several years, as high as 5.99. So the motions that you have in front of you basically say to authorize to proceed with TD Equipment Finance, subject to the approval of the town attorney's office. Once the documents are received from the bank, they should be sitting out tomorrow. Once we get the approval tonight, the town attorney's office will review them, make sure they're good for form, and then we'll proceed. It's a similar, we've used TD probably the last 4 or 5 years. They've come in with the best pricing. This year was a little close, quite honestly. Municipal leasing, we've used them several times as well, but TD won. And you can see on the top part, it's based on the interest rate, results in the buying power. So at an interest rate of 3.33, results in about $266,520 of buying power. And as it relates to the Public Works truck, their rate is 3.39 for the 3-year lease purchase. So I suggest you proceed with this motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the motion as stated in our packet. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the motion as stated in our packet, and it's on page 93, 94.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Angeloni, second by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? All right, passes. Thank you. Nancy, thank you. Item G, revised suspense list totals.
Yeah, after Judy went back after the last meeting and realized there was a slight error, 240 versus 241, so she has provided the corrected suspense list total.
We have to update that motion?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Be it hereby resolved that the North Branford Town Council accepts the recommendation of the interim tax collector and agrees to put the following taxpayers on the list provided onto the suspense list pursuant to CGS 12-165.
Second.
All right. Motion by Counselor Angeloni, second by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? All right, thank you. Loving that Bruce is hanging on. All right, item G, contingency appropriation. Subset I, wiring for library and recreational departments, FY 21-22.
Yeah, the first one, we had put we purchased security cameras for the libraries a while back, and due to the workload of our sole public works maintenance man, we had to farm out that wiring work. So this is a contingency appropriation to pay for that wiring of the two libraries, $7,224.
So this is for last fiscal year, 2022.
That is correct. 21, yep. That is
Okay.
correct.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the appropriation from contingency for wiring of security cameras of $7,224.
Second.
And motion by Counselor Angeloni, second by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. And subset 2, additional funds for overtime hours to cover implementation and rollout for Munis software FY 22-23.
Yeah, what we learned during the first rollout of the general ledger was the amount of work required was tremendous. And Anita, quite honestly, is putting 110, 120 hours every 2-week period in to get this thing implemented. And as we're proceeding down the road to implement payroll, probably January 1 at this point, there's going to be additional requirements for additional hours to do a lot of the legwork, behind the scenes work, inputting, transferring files, things like that. So I'm looking for some assistance so that some of the work that Anita has to stay late to do, the other women in the office could perhaps pick up some of that. Again, they're both unionized, so any additional hours would be additional costs involved. And I'll track this separately and report back to you guys in finance as to how much we're going to spend, as it goes
So
along.
this is a flat rate?
This is just a ballpark number.
Figure, not just for one person?
No,
You'll see it.
for both Terry and Patty. Anita doesn't, she's administrator, she won't get any additional compensation.
Well, I don't think that's fair, personally. That she's
She's
put in
been
all
killing
this-
herself.
Yeah,
I don't disagree. There's
there a
no
way to give
mechanism
her a
in place.
stipend?
yeah, is there,
There's no mechanism in place to do that. I mean, the manager has the ability to give additional vacation days as a way to thank you for additional
Yeah,
hours.
and the thought process was to do that, but to also give her the relief by getting other Patty and
To do some
Terry
of the work, correct.
to take off the load, to be there and helping her, so she's not there 120, she's back down to 90 or something,
well, I think, so for Finance Committee, could you come back with a recommendation for us? I think we need to recognize Anita.
I
You know, the
don't
other
disagree.
thing is Anita now is being called by the Board of Ed, and she's even helping them. I totally agree that we have to do something for her.
Some kind of, some
Yeah.
form of stipend to
Right.
thank her and compensate her for the time. She's,
Yes.
yeah.
That issue you mentioned is nothing new.
Well, okay, but
I know.
she came to Mike's party late last
Yeah.
week, and that's what she said. Well, I'm exhausted. She's spending so many hours. I feel we should do something for her.
I don't disagree with you at all.
You're gonna have a mutiny.
You're gonna have a
She's an
mutiny.
administrator.
Oh.
We all are, Fran has the same problem during snowstorms. You can park and wreck us during elections.
It's a fair point.
That's why
different
going,
type of
I'm happy
administrator.
that you're starting to recognize it, but it's a global issue with all of the administrators.
We got ourselves into trouble one time
Choose one
already.
over and have done nothing for
Yeah.
anyone
Well, that's why
in the past.
I said
Bring
he
it
can
to
come,
this.
he can bring something, we're not,
I'm just trying.
I mean, and so you can talk to the administrators, you can figure something out, but I think you need to come forward to Finance Committee with some type of a recommendation.
I agree.
And,
I'll discuss it with my
Yes.
fellow administrators.
Yes, I would
correct.
have that
That's fine.
conversation.
But, yes.
But point well taken, Lisa. We don't want a mutiny.
Okay, so I see your account numbers here.
Yeah, this is the new
Grown
string.
to 20.
I know.
I mean, there's so many zeros
I
in
know,
here.
I know. This is
And
the-
everything else, so we're not even gonna read the numbers.
Yeah,
We're
just say
gonna
contingency.
that we're gonna authorize the appropriation from contingency
Yep.
for $10,000 for additional hours for munis implementation.
Second.
All right, motion by Counselor Angeloni, seconded by Counselor Diamond. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained? Thank you. Okay, so, and we will, I do agree with you. I didn't think about that until she said it, because you don't think of that as a, I think of it as a different role. So it has a different connotation than department head.
Which is not.
She's not a department head.
No.
See, that's the thing, she's not a department head.
Yeah, no, right, and that's why we said come back with a recommendation.
Yes. Okay, let's conversate about that in the executive session.
So
of
there's item
the
I.
future. And we'll have finance subcommittee next week.
2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks. And item I, 2 weeks, this is a lot of meetings. Building official appointment?
yes, so I've prepared a memo for you regarding Steve Basciuti, who is the ABO and was moved up to interim building official in February. I was mapping out a 6-month process, and he's done very well, and I'd rather not wait till the August 22nd and rather do it tonight to appoint him and elevate him and make him permanent building official. He's been active with the Permanent Project Building Committee. He's been on site doing the project. I think he's doing an admirable job, and he has my full recommendation for the permanent position.
I'd like to make a motion in accordance with section C6-3 of the Charter of the Town of North Branford. The Town Council hereby confirms the town manager's appointment of Mr. Steve Buscetti to serve as the building official at his current salary effective immediately.
Second.
Oh, nice. All right, we got a motion by Counselor Angeloni and a rare second by Deputy Mayor Zampano. We're quick to draw this one. That was great. Is there any discussion? Do you want us to discuss the second? No? Okay. Seeing no discussion, we will move to a vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? All right. Thank you very much, and we thank the building official for taking on that position. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to section 14, citizen statements and petitions. Mr. Potter, welcome. I'd ask that it's just a brief comment.
Yeah, well, it's a thank you, because 2 weeks ago, we had a tractor pull.
Yes.
And 100-degree weather, my food guy stiffed me, so my poor wife had to help out. But the attitude of the guys that come, because the grounds crews, guys like Danny and Franny and all the guys, they have the place looking immaculate. 2 weeks ago, and the comments I get from the guys that come, in such hot weather to pull, we were there till 6 o'clock at night, but they always say they love to come to North Branford. That's not on me, that's on the grounds crews. They always have the place looking immaculate, pristine. It's a farm barn setting, they love pulling in our town. So again, I want these people, the ground, and Danny was funny because we had a water problem, we had to wet down the track, and Franny had to come up with an alternate method. Well, at the same time, there was a problem with the truck, so Danny just kept spraying water on the track and spraying water. We could have raised fish by the end of the time they got the truck fixed. But, you know, Danny, I got to meet him and talk to him, and it's just, the attitude is, we'll make anything work. Franny can, the truck he was gonna use didn't work, but he came up with a good, but the compliments have to go to these guys, because it goes outside the town. When these people leave North Branford, they leave liking their time in North Branford, and that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Thank you.
We thank you for that. Again, thank you to the grounds crew, and we're excited to see the tractor pulls for the Poco Fest.
Yes.
Okay, I will accept a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We have a motion for adjournment by Counselor Angeloni, seconded by Deputy Mayor Zampano. Coming in for the win. All in favor, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, thank you. We are adjourned. Guys, stick for a minute.